Wisconsin has a reading problem. In 2023, just 34% of third graders were proficient in reading. So that summer, state lawmakers passed Act 20. It completely changed how schools teach literacy. So I visited some of our school districts to see how it's being received. And I found out teaching a new method is one thing, paying for it is another.
The purpose of this law is to help our kids be better readers.
Teachers and administrators are all for the switch. They say the previous method just wasn't working.
10 to 15-minute lesson, and then the kids went off and read, which is great for kids who learn to read easily. For kids who struggle to read, then they're going off and they don't know how to read, so then they're just kind of fake reading.
Act 20 says schools need to switch from using cues and memorization to a science-based phonics program.
This is all of your auditory ability to manipulate sounds.
E, egg, F. E, egg, F.
Breaking words down into smaller chunks and establishing patterns together.
Ready, go. P, L.
Spending a lot more time doing whole group instruction. So spending that time modeling, walking kids through steps.
We're explicitly teaching one skill at a time, practicing that skill, reading a decodable book that matches that skill, and we're adding each time.
Tessing says she can sense positive changes already.
The kids are not only more confident in reading, they can explain why things sound the way they do.
But it hasn't been a cakewalk to get to this point.
It's a lot of teacher training on the front end, the purchasing of all the materials.
New workbooks, lesson plans, and training hours all add up fast.
Having a $100,000 investment come out of nowhere is hard.
The real cost to transition varies by district size. Melrose Mindoro has spent about $145,000 using cash reserves. Holman, closer to $400,000.
That we've all paid for up front.
Act 20 included $50 million to help make the transition easier. That money is frozen in the legislature. Holman and Melmin are still expecting relief from the state because they bought materials that the Department of Public Instruction said would allow them to get partial reimbursement.
We're hoping that soon this year we'll be able to apply for a grant to cover up to 50% of that resource.
But soon doesn't mean much.
We have had zero communication given to us as to how that process is going to work.
So until then, some school districts may have budgets on a tightrope.
We are scaling in other areas to ensure that this amount is covered.
And State Superintendent Jill Underly says there are no updates to potential reimbursement grants. As for the classroom, a reading curriculum switch won't turn state test scores around overnight. Edwards says it's realistically 3 to 5 years before districts start to see any dramatic differences.